Hiya. How are you? I hope you are all well. Here is the next literature class. Okay, this one this week is about symbolism and allegory. Do you know what allegory is? Do you know what symbolism is? You might want to look them up in a dictionary before we begin, if you want to. Pause the screen first. Okay, are we ready to start? Right. The next book we're going to read. Now, this is a really famous English book. It was written in 1945, which is a long time ago, but people still read it now, and it's very, very famous. Now, the title is Animal Farm, and the author is George Orwell. He is British, was British. We're going to just read the beginning now. There are 2 slides, and as you read silently, I want you to think, is there anything strange about the story? We're going to analyze it later, but now just read these 2 slides and think, what is there that's strange? Okay, so here's the first part. Pause this until everyone has finished reading it. Okay, on to the next one. Continue reading. Okay, is there anything strange? Okay, yeah, it's all about animals, but the animals are personified. They are almost made into humans, and they speak and do everything that humans do. Remember that personification word we had last week. Okay, so this is Animal Farm, and we're going to look at some features of it. And afterwards, I want you to read the whole PDF, but I'm going to prepare you for it through this session. Interesting book. I hope it looks like the sort of book you would like to read. So it's a fairy tale, really. It's an adult story, and it's very political and interesting, but it is actually like a fairy tale, an allegory, where different parts represent different people, different characters, different periods in history. They represent different things in real life. So before you read any more, here are 3 questions. I want you to pause the screen and in pairs discuss these questions for around 5 minutes now. Okay, so this is your prediction stage. Before we read, we always understand a lot more if we predict beforehand, if we think we know what we're going to read about. Okay, so this is about the words allegory, symbolism, and metaphor. I want you to add those 3 red words in these 12 gaps. Okay, so 12 gaps and only 3 words. So you have to use each word more than once. Okay, I want you to pause the video, read it through and add the 3 words now. Okay, have you finished? Which word did you use most? Let's check now and see. Okay, so the word used most is symbolism. And after that, allegory, and then metaphor. Now, 3 allegories and 3 metaphors, but most symbolism. So this is the definition of allegory. What is allegory? The expression of truths or generalizations by symbolic fictional figures and actions. And symbolism, when you want to create a mood to represent something else. And metaphor is a type of symbolism. Allegory is an extended metaphor. And an allegory can be a whole story, like Animal Farm, the book we're going to read. If you need to read this again, please pause now. Otherwise, we're going to move on. Okay. Other symbolisms that you often find in literature are the symbolism of colors. This is the psychology of colors as well. Have a look at these colors and meanings or symbolism and discuss. Do you agree that these colors mean or represent or show those ideas? Discuss them for 5 minutes or so and pause the video now. Okay, so do you agree with some of these or all of them? This is a simple justification of different types of symbolism, just related to color, before we look at it in more depth. Okay, so moving on, we're going to read a bit more from Animal Farm together. And I want you to read this and find any descriptions. Okay, so read it silently. And when you've finished, with your partner, discuss which parts are descriptions. Pause now to read. Okay, did you find the descriptions? It's describing the animals. For example, Molly, the foolish, pretty white mare, and there is a female horse. Lots of descriptions about lots of different animals. You tend to have lots of descriptions at the beginning where it's setting the scene, so we know what the characters are like. So here in red are all the descriptions. You can, if you want, relate these to the senses. For example, cheeping feebly is the sense of sound. That's the ducklings going cheep, 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 weakly. Wandering, describing their movement. Great foreleg is her big front leg, to emphasize the size of the ducklings nestled down, a description of how they lay down. Okay, lots of beautiful descriptions about actions, sight, sound, purred contentedly, of the cat, for example, and more sound at the bottom, he cleared his throat. So lots and lots of description there. Okay, I'm going to try now to play you some of these parts of films. First of all, I'm going to try and play this 2-minute trailer. Let's see if it plays. This is the trailer for the film version, and there have been a few different films made of Animal Farm, a really old-fashioned animated one and a newer one. This one I'm going to try to show you is, sorry, it's very slow, newer. Okay, it's coming now. So have a look and see what it tells you. Are meant to make you want to go and see the whole film. See if it's successful. Okay.
But now, in this valley, on this farm, in this farm, man is our enemy. Things are about to change. Remove man, and we will become free and equal. Based on one of the most important and controversial books of our time. What's going on in there? Revolution! Seize the day! Get to the car! Glorious victory is ours! We must never come to resemble man in any way. They started with a dream of prosperity. Our farm is now truly Animal Farm. Now they will have to face their greatest challenge, themselves. From now on, a special committee of pigs will decide all aspects of the farm. No! Lake Shore International is proud to present George Orwell's classic tale of greed. Who has the milk and apples? Us pigs have the milk and apples. Corruption.
Napoleon, I want to see my hobbies.
You can't see your hobbies. Got a bottle of whiskey for you.
Very like men.
And oppression. Any animal seen giving food to a hen will be punished. By death! All animals are now free! Animal Farm.
What if the pigs are wrong?
Okay, so that's the trailer from the newest film. So the newest film is there on YouTube. It's the 1999 version of Animal Farm. The animation is there as well. That's from 1954. That's quite old-fashioned. We watched the 2-minute trailer, and the final bit there is Old Major's last speech. Old Major is a pig. And is it becoming a little bit clearer now what it's going to be about? You can watch these anytime you like. We won't watch any more now, but the links are there, and I'll send you the PowerPoint if you want to watch them later. So let's look at the plot, the characters, the theme and symbols, and the meaning of the ending. If you want a surprise when you read the book, save that slide for later. Don't look at it now. You don't need to look at it until you've finished. So, any idea? What could the plot be? What do you think the main characters are? What sort of theme? What sort of symbols? Just pause now for 2 minutes and talk to your neighbour to see if you have any ideas. Okay, so we're going to look at some of these now, and this will help you understand the book as you read it. These are the main characters. 2 humans and 6 animals, and there are many other animals. So we have the pigs are the ones in control: Old Major, Snowball, Squealer, Napoleon. The horses are also main characters. Boxer is the cart horse, and Benjamin is the donkey. There are many other characters as well. These are the main ones. And Mr. Jones, who runs the farm, and Mr. Pilkington, he also runs another farm. Look at the bottom. And now I want you to pause to read these descriptions now. Just pause for a little while, 2 minutes, and then we'll discuss them. Okay, so have a look, and what sort of period of history is it talking about? If you look under Snowball, he is based on Leon Trotsky. Napoleon is based on Joseph Stalin. Okay, so this is based on communism and Russia and the Russian revolution. And Mr. Pilkington represents the capitalist governments. He's a more easygoing farmer, the capitalist governments of England and the United States. So it's about politics, communism, capitalism, and how they work. Very interesting to see this as an allegory of animals taking over a farm. Okay, so this is the plot. So we have the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the major conflict. I want you to pause now to read silently to find out more about this plot overview. You can read it now. Okay. So this will help explain the plot. This is one way of analyzing plots in a story: rising action, climax, falling action, and the major conflict in the book. So it's all about life and politics, ideology. What is the best way to run a country, a society? I know in Guinea-Bissau, you're very interested in politics and how to make a success of things. This might be quite interesting for you to read. And then we have these themes and symbols. The quotation at the bottom is very famous: all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Very famous quote, which relates to communism. So everyone is equal, but some people are more equal and have more privileges. It's about corruption, the failure of intellect. We cannot use intellect to save everything. Exploitation of the workers or of the animals. The symbols, we have the farm itself, the barn, the place where they meet, and the windmill. And we've got more information about them in a minute. Now, the next slide is about the end of the story. If you don't want to watch this, then fast forward over this, because this will give away the ending. Okay, if you want to read it, you can read this now to find out the meaning of the ending. What do you think about this? This is quite pessimistic in a way. Is it true? Is it what you think? Okay, so if you want to save that till later, that's fine. Read the book to find out what goes on. Coming back to the symbolism, we now have 2 slides about the symbolism of the barn and the windmill. I want you to read through these 2 slides and then tell your partner what the barn and the windmill represent, what they are symbolic of. Okay, pause now to read this screen silently. Okay, and now to find out about the windmill, pause again. Okay, so lots and lots of different symbolism at different levels. It's a very good book to read and think about symbolism, allegory, and the meaning of different things in the story. Okay. Like in the Bible, for example, they have in Animal Farm, they write some commandments. What do you think the 7 commandments were? If you want to pause now to discuss it, you can. But I'm going to show you now. These 7 were the commandments. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill another animal. No animal shall wear clothes, and all animals are equal. As the story went on, the leaders decided to change some of the commandments. What do you think they were changed to later? Pause now to discuss for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, you'll find out when you read the book. Okay, so I want you to spend the rest of this lesson and your homework reading more of the story. As you read it, I want you to think about symbolism, allegory, similes, metaphors, imagery, and description. And you can post some comments and examples in the literature WhatsApp group. Okay, I really hope you enjoy the book. Spend as much time as you can reading it. Try to finish it in 1 week. Okay, that's the end of our session today. Have a good week.